today on our Thirsty Thursdays, where we like to connect with the wonderful people that we've managed to meet in our travels and hear some inspiring stories. So first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Linda Apalipsius, and she is the co-founder and CEO of Teatulia. So welcome, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, well, I really thank you so much for joining us today. I've been so interested in Teatulia's story ever since I met your guys at the San Francisco Green Festival, I guess back in 2011,
Yeah.
and loved the taste of your tea. In fact, I believe at that point it was your lemongrass that I fell in love with.
It'll usually do it. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been just lovely to come and run across each other again. And I guess most recently last fall, I got to meet your guys again at the San Francisco Green Fest again.
hmm
And anyway, you of course have so many different kinds of teas at this point. And what I found to be so wonderfully inspiring and what I wanted to hear a bit more about today was the idea of how your company and the way you're operating are contributing to outer peace. And outer peace is our theme for November. And
hmm
I believe the kind of activities and the way you're running your company is just such a progressive way of making sure the supply chain is working out and benefiting all, and as well the way you've got your inner workings of your company. So I tell you, just maybe to begin with, could you give me a bit of some of your background as CEO and co-founder at Teatulia?
Yeah. My background is in consumer products. So I've been working in this industry, not in food, but actually cleaning products. I'm familiar with packaged goods and retail and how all that works. But coming into food, I got involved with this as I was helping out a friend of mine whose name, Kazi Anis Ahmed, who is, he and his brother started the Tea Garden. We were selling our previous company when Anis was actually staying with us in LA. And when they were interested in bringing the teas into the States, they wanted to do a market analysis. So I knew I was going to have some time on my hands. I was very pregnant as well. And so I offered to help him out. And that was about 9 years ago. And I'm still here. I'm still here. The more I learned about the business and the industry, I've just been having a blast.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, yes, I think it sounds like quite an interesting journey, and I guess that's probably the next place to go. And how is Teatulia different than many other teas, and sort of the background of what makes Teatulia special?
So, I always say, Teatulia is totally unique in the tea industry. So one thing, actually, where you and I most recently met was at the BCorp conference,
Yes,
or not the BCorp conference, sorry, it was the Tea Expo where I was doing a lecture on BCorp.
yes, yes, yes.
For anybody who knows about BCorps, it's triple bottom line principles. It's companies that take into account the environment and the people, as well as the business. So just sort of on a broad brush, we're a B Corp. We're a very proud B Corp. A lot of other tea companies are B Corps. We actually are very, very well represented in the B Corp world, which is great. So how then does Teatulia, how are we different even from that community, that very impressive community?
Yes.
So we have sort of in my elevator pitch is, we are a single garden, direct, sustainably grown tea from Bangladesh. And each one of those things is different from really, almost anyone in the industry. So we have our own tea garden, and it's one of the largest organic tea gardens in the north of Bangladesh. So single source, and then we source directly because it's our own tea garden. So, we're totally vertically integrated, which means that our tea is quite fresh. There's no middlemen or distributors or brokers that we're going through for our tea. So single garden, organic, sustainability, as I said, one of the largest organic tea gardens in the world. However, it's not sustainable. Our tea garden, our business is not sustainable. It's regenerative. So what we've done, so my partner Anis and his brothers, Inam and Nabil, they went in and this is a new tea garden. So they took land in the north of the country that was turning into a desert essentially. And through deep natural farming practices, so pulling from biodynamics and the Fukuoka method, actually restored the ecosystem. And brought back species that had disappeared and water bodies that had dried up. So this garden is just, I mean, it's amazing when you look at, you know, Google images from sort of the early 90s to now. It was white then, and it's green now. It's a lush green now. So we've restored and regenerated the ecosystem as well as the economy. The north of Bangladesh, one of the poorest parts, one of the poorest countries in the world. And so by providing jobs through our cattle lending program, have put tremendous wealth and and just again, kind of regenerated and rejuvenated the ecosystem and the community. So that's what we're doing at Origin. And then all of our packaging is also biodegradable and compostable. And we use minimal waste packaging. We don't use strings, tags, envelopes, or staples for our pyramids, for our tea bags, and then for our round tea bags as well.
I noticed that right from the beginning, actually. My very first Teatulia teas were in the bags, and of course it just came in the total wrapper of all of them, and I thought, how smart is this? And even your outer packaging that you had is quite unique, I thought, and an interesting kind of round, almost drum shape was what I thought. Yeah.
They do make great musical instruments, actually. Yeah, the kids like making little drums out of them. But yeah, with the packaging, you know, when I was developing and conceiving of the brand, I spent hours walking the shelves of Whole Foods and trying to find sustainable packaging, you know, which is very, very hard to find. And then one of our partners actually did present me with what we call it our eco canister. Can I grab a canister?
Yes, please.
A little van of white here. Our eco canister.
Yes.
This is one of our new energy ones. But, you know, so just it really worked hard because we had such a great commitment at Origin, and it was really important that it carried through to the shelves and to the consumer. And, you know, and it speaks with a different tone of voice. It feels different, you know, so we're happy with it.
Wonderful, wonderful. I tell you, I was so interested in the tea garden and the story that you were telling us, and the idea of, you know, regenerative versus sustainable, and talking about, you know, the investment and the way that the tea garden was developed, and then, you know, putting things back into the community resources so that the community itself thrived. And I thought I'd love a little bit more of a picture. If you could paint a picture for us of your tea garden and of the community and the types of things that have come out of your efforts.
Yeah. Oh, the tea garden is beautiful. I was there a couple of years ago. And it's interesting too, you know, for those I'm sure a lot of your fans will know about tea gardens, have probably been to some of them. Our garden is low lying. It's a sea level. Oh. So it's a low lying, totally flat. Which is different. And it's, you know, and it's non-contiguous plots as well. So it's not just this sort of, you know, endless field of tea, you know, and since we use such deep organic farming methods, that's actually quite helpful. So when we do have infestations, or if we do have any issues, you know, it's not going to, you know, jump and ruin the whole crops, which is great. So anyway, but the garden itself, so I run, and when I was at the garden, I went for an early morning run through the tea garden. I mean, it was absolutely magical, you know, and there's animals, and it is just unbelievably gorgeous and peaceful and beautiful. So that's, and then for the community, so Bangladesh is an interesting place. You know, most people don't know much about it at all. If it makes the news, it tends to make the news for bad things, which is what makes what we're doing even more remarkable. You know, it's a very industrious country. You know, the people are very, very hardworking, and a lot of entrepreneurship. And so it's just, there's always a bustle of activity, and it's a very respectful, you know, beautiful, you know, kind of buzz. There's really no tourist industry there too, which is kind of interesting. So you see very, very few foreigners, but it is a remarkable, remarkable country.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that gives us a nice idea in regards to the tea garden itself. I was wondering if you could tell a little bit about, you know, some of the initiatives with the workers, and maybe onto that lending program, and talking about, you know, how this is helping to resource the community as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've talked about the farming and what we're doing there. On the social sides, the cornerstone of our social model is a cattle lending program that my partners, and I have to give my partners all the credit for the brilliance, of how this was set up. So when they're setting up this big organic farm, you need a lot of organic fertilizer. So they decided, they did not want to go into the dairy farm business to get all of this fertilizer. They didn't, and so they realized that they set up a cattle lending program. So they loan cows, these cows, to women in the community, and the women pay the loan back with cow dung that we use for compost. So it's this really interesting, totally symbiotic relationship that we have with our community. So it doesn't put any onerous cash burden on them. When they get the cows, it is a productive asset immediately. So they get fresh milk. They get to keep any calves that the cows have, and it's been incredible. And when we were over there a couple of years ago, we met with a group of the women, and it's only women who are involved in the in the cooperative. And so we always talk about the rock star of the cattle lending program, Fahima, who she's got, oh gosh, I mean, she has maybe 6 to 8 cows now. Her husband, he quit his job and he works for her now. Taking care of the cows, and a lot of these women, they're going on and getting, more cows, or they're getting land, or they're sending their kids to university, or they're getting a solar panel that they can put in their house so that they can do homework at night and they can cook at night. And it's just a really beautiful, as I said, totally symbiotic relationship with the community.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And I hadn't realized the details of when it was cattle lending. I wasn't exactly sure sort of what that meant exactly, but now I do understand. And yes, I guess the gardens are getting back exactly what they need.
It's a trade in poo. I mean, it is what it is, but it's pretty cool.
Yes, well, I mean, it's so practical. You
Yes.
gotta love that, is that
Mm-hmm.
people are getting to use the cows for what they need on the domestic front, and like you say, can keep the calves and get some milk. And meanwhile, what isn't useful to them comes back to you and is useful.
Yep.
And that's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah. No, it's really neat.
you have got a recent award. Your Teatulia is on the Forbes list of the 25 most innovative brands in 2015. So
Yes.
congratulations on that. Was there any particular aspect that they looked at when going, aha, Teatulia needs to be on this list?
Gosh, I keep asking myself that. We were utterly stunned and humbled and honored. I think just the what we've been talking about, the cattle lending program. What we're doing is just so directly impacting, and a lot, other programs, are lots of good is being done out there, but the fact that this just sort of at our core, at our sort of fundamental level, everything about how this business and this tea garden was set up, was beneficial. I always say, sort of every step of the way on the business, we're trying to do it better. We're trying to do packaging better than it's been done. We're trying to, do clean tea, in a better way than it's been done. The farming practices. So I think it's just that it's kind of simplicity. It's kind of just how the business has been conceived of. So yeah, we're pretty psyched.
Yeah, well, congratulations. And I think of the
Thank you.
idea that there's so many aspects of your business that really are so aligned and have integrity. I think it's incredibly challenging to run a company where you manage to get so many aspects all aligned. And so anyway, I think that's marvelous, marvelous. I also wanted to talk about the idea that you've got a Rainforest Alliance certification. I just thought could you speak to that for just a second?
Yeah, so we got that Just looking for the cute little badge, little frog. Yeah, so I think we've had that about 3 years now. The interesting thing about the Rainforest Alliance, so USDA, something we're very proud of, but the Rainforest Alliance also looks at how you treat, the workers and how you treat sort of everyone, in the system and the production of the product. So I think that was why we were really interested in having that, because it just, it validates and verifies, what we're doing and how we're treating, all of our stakeholders, in the system. So yes, we like the frog.
Good. And just back to the B Corporation for a moment. That was something that I've become aware of. The bank that I'm actually involved with for our business at Libra T, our bank is actually B Corporation certified, and they're the people that help convene the local meetings. So it's interesting to go to some of those, and we're just on the way working towards the B Corp certification. And we haven't got all the steps in there, but we're working on it. And
Good.
Yeah. I was hoping that maybe you could give a little bit of an overview of just maybe some of the things that would make a B Corporation certification for a company stand out. If people hear that a company is B Corp, what would they know about that company?
So the thing that appeals to me about B Corp, everything that B Corp's doing, the B Corp certification, is it's kind of one step beyond actually what I was saying I like about Rainforest. So it's a certification. You have to get assessed, which is the fun process you're going through right now. I'm going through my recertification now, which is a blast. And so it looks at making sure that you're respecting the environment, that you're respecting people, and that your business is based on sound business principles. And so the thing, as I said, the thing that always is appealed to me about B Corp is that, it's pragmatic. It's not, for sort of those folks who might, us tree hugging organic people, this is sound. This is sound business. And, when you look at the companies that, and it's not just, so the thing is not just taking into account, your shareholders, but taking into account your stakeholders. And, a company like Teatulia, so we choose to use organic inputs. We choose to use compostable materials, which might make our profit margin a little bit smaller because we think there's value to that. We think that there's a bigger value to that. And so it's decisions like that and sort of baking those into your corporate DNA so that if you ever took on additional investors or if your company was sold, that you have stated that this is how this business is going to be run, no matter what. And these are sort of the core principles to the business. And, some of the companies that are B Corps, just some of the bigger, better known companies. Patagonia is a B Corp. Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream is a B Corp. For those of us Colorado beer drinkers, New Belgium is a B Corp. So there's big companies, there's startups, and it goes across sectors as well. And your certification is all tied into whatever your industry is and the size of the company.
Yes.
And one last thing is that also your scores are published, so it's absolute transparency. So you can go and see my score, and I'll be able to go see your score soon too.
Yes. No, that's fabulous. I was just wanting really to be able to put the message out to people, because sometimes in these times we get to hear a lot of information and stories that go out there that talk about corporate practices that aren't so generous, that aren't thoughtful and considerate of, the people, planet, and profit, and having that triple bottom line approach that is a little bit more balanced. And that's one of the things that I love to be able to get out as a message to people, is that there are companies that are doing it in a different way.
Oh yeah.
I got to see the woman who's the just retiring president from New Belgium. She was speaking at Emerging Women. Back in San Francisco about 3 weeks ago. I just got to see it online, but yes, it looks like she's helped build a beautiful company there too.
Yeah, and it's successful. I agree. It's a great message.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for helping share a bit more about some of the details so that people do know there's good things going on in the world, and that if they are making a consumer choice, and hopefully everybody understands that when they buy product, they're actually making a choice, and they're
Hmm.
making, the fundamental difference between supporting a company that does have those values versus a company that may not want to make that kind of commitment. So.
Yes.
Wonderful. I
Here, here.
tell you, one of the last questions I've got for you is what gives you the greatest joy at Teatulia?
Oh gosh. I love what I do. And we have an extraordinary product, and using kind of I think what you were just saying, it's a packaged good. And however, I think consumer products are one of the best ways to educate people about ways to do things better. And so if my tea, if somebody picks up my canister and reads the back and learns a bit more about sustainable regenerative farming, learns a bit more about more responsible packaging. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So it's just being involved with a great product, and I think we're making an impact. I think that we're setting a good example. I think we're putting a beautiful, high quality, clean product out there for everyone to enjoy. So yeah, and I'm pretty passionate about it, and just love most days. But yeah, no, what I'm doing.
Absolutely. It sometimes it always gets a little full, so there's always a few challenges along the road, whether it be life, business, or whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah, for sure, for sure. But I think the joy shows through in your face, actually, as you speak about the principles that the company is committed to, and just being so thrilled to be able to be involved with the company and have leadership in that commitment. I think that's fabulous. I tell you, what new initiatives at Teatulia are you most excited about?
Well, we're the canister I just grabbed here.
Yeah.
So we have a cool new line of
Ah,
so this is our energy line. So something that I think when we spoke before, I was explaining, Teatulia is all about, we do very clean teas without flavors, and just pure black, green, and white, until energy. So this uses eleuthero root, which is
oh,
an adaptogen. And we have a green, black, and white version of the energy tea. And the idea is that it just helps put in balance, whatever might be off kilter for you. The red has rooibos and hibiscus, as well as the eleuthero root. The green has matcha, and Teatulia green, and then the black has black as well as guayusa and mate. So they're delicious. They're all three lightly sweetened with stevia. But the one thing that is really cool is you can brew them iced or hot. And so we're here in Colorado, so I always say just put a tea bag in your water bottle, and when you're ready to go up the mountain, you just fill it up. So it's we know we can make iced tea with any any tea bag, but it's not always that obvious. So just helping people understand that this is a really nice multifunctional product. So we're super psyched. It's kind of a different world for us.
yes. And so when is that coming out, or has it come out?
It's coming out now. So we've just gotten into our local region of Whole Foods. Wegmans carries it Fairway. So we're getting some nice pickup for the product.
Oh,
So it is rolling out as we speak.
ah, good. I was wondering, how do you get the story out for Teatulia about the good things that you're doing, whether it be the farm, whether it be the new products, or your different certifications? How do you help people understand what it is that that you're doing?
Oh, it's so, I mean, it's one of the most challenging things, as how you get that word across. So, our packaging is a big part of our marketing.
Mhm.
Even if you don't read the pack, you understand that it's a different, look and feel, and it's got a sustainable element to it. We do a lot of demos, and we're really getting back to that. We have such a deep story that anybody who will listen to us, so thank you for listening to me. Anybody who will listen to us and hear the story is hooked. I mean, it's so lots of that, and then we also have a really nice food service business, which is actually a really nice way to tell the story, and to get people to sort of learn more about the products. And we have a tea bar here in Denver too, so we do a lot of education here.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's great. And like you said, I think there's many dimensions to the story. So I can imagine it's a bit challenging. And certainly that whole demo world of being able to be face to face with people, and with those demo people being able to have the training and the information to be able to put
Mhm.
across an answer. It's one person at a time that gets to hear the story and gets hooked, and buys the next, a nice canister of Teatulia, and keeps on going because they know what they're buying, and they're
Right.
they're, they're buying into sustainability, and doing good things for our world.
Yes. Oh, and
So
then we also, of course, do green fests where we meet nice people like you.
yes. Do
So,
you do any other kind of trade shows beyond the green fests?
yeah, I mean, on the consumer side, we do Green Fest and, more and more. So some of the Fit Expos and the KPFA and, kind of local festivals. So we're in that aspect of the business, we're also expanding. We just brought in a beautiful rickshaw from Bangladesh. So that's part of our kit as we go out to add some fun and some education to it.
Well, that'll be beautiful. That will certainly draw attention, because that's going
Yeah.
to look very different in the middle of a fest.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, I really appreciate you taking the time today. And as well, we're actually having an Instagram contest with, I believe it's Libra Outer Peace is the hashtag. And Teatulia is the tea that you're going to win when you put forward the photo. So thank you so much, Linda, for supporting our efforts there. And
Thank you.
we
Thank you for
really love
having
to
me.
be able to tell the story of your company, and companies like yours that are doing great things in the world. And with tea being such a fast growing category, I think it's so important that people get the opportunity to hear it. And as I
Yeah.
said, if people miss this right now, we will have this available on our YouTube channel, and hopefully you'll find it something that you may want to use at Teatulia. But in the meantime, do you have any closing words for us?
Well, I wanted to say the best way to enjoy Titulia, of course, is with a Libre vessel. I think I have 4 or 5 of them that I have placed everywhere that I spend any time. And in our tea shop, they're one of the most popular. They're gorgeous and perfect. And so you also, thank you for creating a beautiful product to help people enjoy tea.
Yes, yes, most definitely. Well, we wish you all the best of success at Teatulia, and certainly a superb holiday season at the tea
Ooh,
bar in your sales
thank
overall,
you.
and launching that beautiful new energy product, which I'm sure people will clamor to, as we're all looking for a way to be able to sustain through the winter, and then on into the year. So once again, thank you so much for your time. I
Thank you very
really
much.
appreciate it, Linda, and I loved hearing more about your story. That was just fascinating. And I will revere I've got jasmine green actually at the office right now from Teatulia, and will think that it's that much more extra special now that I know the broader story.
Sure. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much, and until next time, Thirsty Thursday brings you some good news. Bye-bye.